Going to the Golden State Valkyries, you can see that every single emotion was just coming out of everywhere for the Las Vegas Aces.
Sydney Colson, a two-time WNBA champion and one of A.A. Wilson's closest teammates, recently turned down the Las Vegas Aces and signed with the Indiana Fever. This is a significant development in the
Aces are on the brink of being eliminated from the WNBA playoffs, and recently they have been in the news for all the wrong reasons.
The Fever are
WNBA that is rocking the league. Let's just say that Wilson is not happy with Colson's new partnership with Caitlin Clark. The Fever is making power plays, and this one may be the largest yet. What does this mean for the Aces? And why did Colson pick Clark over Wilson?
Sydney Colson of the Las Vegas Aces has just signed to the Indiana Fever as the mysterious point guard that we have all been guessing wrong about.
Going to dissect everything, so fasten your seatbelt and let's get started. The WNBA is currently in utter turmoil, and all eyes are on one team, the Indiana Fever. They have been making incredible moves and building a roster that has fans either ecstatic or furious, but out of all the significant additions they have made, one move stands out above the rest. One of A.A. Wilson's closest friends and two-time WNBA champion, Sydney Colson, recently departed the Las Vegas Aces to join Caitlin Clark in the Craze.
I am so curious as what A'ja Wilson, how she feels about this, and have they talked about it? I'm sure they have. I'm sure they are really good friends. I don't know how A'ja will react, to be completely honest, because if you think about it, this was the day of A'ja Wilson's shoe drop and the big announcement. And this is definitely big news that I know is taking the internet by storm right now.
This isn't just another free agency move. It's a statement in the fourth quarter, and let's be honest, AAA. For those who have been watching the WNBA for a while, Wilson is unhappy about Colson's exit because it goes beyond basketball. It's personal. Colson and Wilson were more than just teammates. They were like family. They had chemistry on and off the court, and when it was announced that Colson was leaving,
and Caitlin Clark and her jersey retirement were also the same day, so I cannot imagine that this feels too great for A'ja Wilson, just particularly with the timing of everything. But also, I'm sure it doesn't feel great for A'ja Wilson to lose the best locker room player in the WNBA.
For Indiana, fans knew right away that there was going to be a big upheaval in the system. After all, can you imagine winning back-to-back championships, building a dynasty, and then suddenly having one of the key players walk away? Not just to any team, but to the one team that is being built to defeat the Aces. That's like your best. The Indiana Fever are building something special, and she wanted to be a part of it. Take a look at what the team has done this offseason. They signed Sophie Cunningham, a gritty, hard-nosed player who fits perfectly into their system. They brought in Natasha Howard, a proven veteran and defensive powerhouse. They signed Danana Bonner, an absolute bucket getter and a leader on and off the court. And they signed Caitlin Clark, the most hyped rookie in WNBA history. Colson saw that and she wanted in, but here's the kicker. It wasn't just about the Fever. Building a strong team, it was about Caitlin Clark. Because let's be real, Clark is changing the entire WNBA landscape ever since she entered the league. Teams have been adjusting their rosters, making big-time moves, and trying to position themselves for the future. And if you're a veteran like Colson, you're looking at this and thinking, I want to be part of that. Caitlin Clark isn't just a talented player, she's a game changer. She's bringing massive attention to the WNBA. She's selling out arenas, she's getting national media coverage that the league has never seen before, and players, they see that too. Colson made a business decision, plain and simple. She saw where the league was going, she saw where she could make the biggest impact, and she made the jump. But while Fever fans are celebrating, Aces fans, they're absolutely losing it. Social media is in meltdown mode. Some fans are still in denial, saying things like, "We'll be fine. We still have AA and Chelsea Gray." Others are straight up irate, questioning why she would abandon us for a newbie, and then they're untouchable. But now that the pieces are falling apart, they've lost their GM, their assistant coaches, Kelsey Plum, and now Sydney Colson. We can't ignore how this actually affects Caitlin Clark, because it's not just about Colson joining Indiana. It's also about what it means for Clark's development. As everyone knows, Clark is entering the WNBA with a ton of hype, expected to be the next face of the league, the player who attracts millions of new fans, and the one who takes women's basketball to a whole new level. But that comes with a lot of pressure. The WNBA differs from collegiate basketball in that the players are stronger, the competition is more intense, and the season is longer and more demanding. Sydney Colson is the ideal addition to this team because in addition to being a fantastic defender and a seasoned leader, she is also a personality who can keep things light, keep the energy high, and ensure that this team stays connected. Let's face it, the content we're about to see from Clark and Colson together is going to be legendary. Clark needed a veteran presence around her who could show her the ropes, help her navigate the league, and keep the locker room steady. Now that Colson, one of the league's funniest players, is collaborating with one of the most talked about rookies ever, the Fever is about to become a must-watch television program. Not just for their games, but for everything off the court as well. And that matters because the WNBA is about more than just winning games. It's about developing a brand, expanding the league, and building a team that people want to support, follow, and invest in. Indiana is aware of this, which is why they continue to make the right decisions. In the meantime, the WNBA is changing, and the Indiana Fever are leading the charge. Sydney Colson's decision to leave a championship team and join a rising contender is upending the entire league. But it's more than just a roster change. It's a sign that the power dynamics in the WNBA are shifting, and not everyone is prepared for it, especially A.A. Wilson and the Las Vegas Aces. Consider what this means for the Aces, who were the most dominant team in the WNBA for 2 consecutive titles, a squad full of Olympians and stars, a close-knit group that appeared unstoppable, but now the foundation is crumbling. Losing a player is one thing, but losing a member to the team vying for your kingdom is quite another. Wilson must have felt like a hit to the gut when she woke up to discover her trusted teammate Sydney Colson heading to Indiana. Wilson is upset because Colson wasn't just another player for the Aces. She was a part of their locker room identity and the type of veteran leader that keeps a team together. Her departure sends a message that Wilson and the other Aces can't ignore the Fever. They're not just trying to compete, they're trying to take over. She spent the last few seasons as the face of the WNBA, dominating the league, winning championships, and creating a dynasty in Las Vegas. And now she's watching Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever steal the show. Focus and take a look. Wilson hasn't exactly been happy with all the attention Clark has received since joining the WNBA. There has been a lot of discussion about whether the media and the league are giving her too much attention at the expense of more seasoned players like Wilson, and now that Clark's team is stealing important players from Wilson's own squad, you better believe it is. Wilson feels disrespected. But let's take a step back and consider the bigger picture. Why are so many players joining the craze? There are 2 reasons why Indiana, a team that finished with only 5 victories 2 seasons ago, is now the league's most desirable destination. First of all, Caitlin Clark is a talent magnet. And second, the Fever are smart about how they construct their team around her. Her players want to be a part of something unique. They want to be on a team that is growing rather than waning, and at the moment, the Fever are growing because they are creating a team that isn't just good on paper, but is geared toward long-term success. Take a look at their recent actions. They signed players who fit in rather than merely famous names. Natasha Howard is an established A defender with toughness and the ability to lock down opponents. Danana Bonner is an accomplished scorer who can step up when things get tight. A tough, fierce competitor who will battle for every possession is Sophie Cunningham. Colson, Sydney. This isn't simply a collection of talented individuals. It's a formula for success, complete with a seasoned,